The Galactic Council Hall was silent. Not the normal kind of silence, but a deep, heavy silence. All the alien delegates, dressed in their finest robes, sat still, watching the main entrance. The humans were late. Everyone waited. The treaty had been signed 2 galactic cycles ago. No weapons, no armies, no threats. Peace for all intelligent species. Everyone followed the rules. Everyone except maybe the humans. Suddenly, the large steel doors opened. A group of humans walked in slowly. Their boots made loud thuds against the smooth floor. They weren't wearing diplomatic clothes. They weren't carrying symbols of peace. Instead, they were in black armor, thick, strong, battle armor. And, worse, they were armed, rifles on their backs, sidearms at their waists. Even a few heavy weapons could be seen. The entire room stiffened. Council guards looked to their commanders. Should they step in? Should they raise alarms? No one moved. The humans kept walking, quiet and calm like this was normal. At the center of the room stood the High Speaker of the Council, a tall and ancient being from the Vereen race. His voice shook as he spoke. Humans. We agreed to peace. The treaty clearly states, no weapons inside Council space. The lead, human Commander Reyna Cole, stepped forward. She removed her helmet slowly. Her face was calm, but her eyes were sharp. She scanned the room before answering. Her voice was steady. We know what the treaty says. We also know treaties don't stop bullets. Or betrayal. A murmur moved through the chamber. Shock, fear, anger. A delegate from the gentle Amari species stood up. Are you threatening us? He asked, his voice shaking. Is this an act of war? Commander Cole didn't flinch. She shook her head. No. This is protection. We don't plan to hurt anyone, but we're not going to die because we believed in empty words. The silence returned, this time heavier. Some aliens looked at each other, confused. Others stared at the humans with distrust. The Drexy's ambassador, a tall, scaly figure with glowing red eyes, sneered from his corner. How convenient, he hissed. Bring weapons, break the rules, and call it defense. You humans are as wild as we expected. Cole turned slightly, meeting his eyes. You're the reason we came prepared, she said coldly. The Council didn't know what to do. It had taken years to bring the galaxies together. Dozens of wars ended. Trade flowed. Knowledge was shared. Humanity had joined late, but they were full members now. This act changed everything. High Speaker Vereen spoke again, trying to calm the air. Commander Cole, explain. Why bring weapons? Why ignore the agreement? Cole looked around the room, slowly, carefully. She wanted them to feel her words, because we've seen this before. On Earth we had treaties too. We believed in peace, but every time someone broke the rules, people died. Cities burned. We learned the hard way. Peace isn't made with words. Peace is kept with strength. An insectoid diplomat clicked angrily. But this is a place of unity. Cole nodded. Yes, and we will protect that unity. With force, if we must. One of the younger delegates, a bird-like creature from the Alari race, leaned forward. You think someone is planning something? Who? Cole hesitated. Then she said quietly, we don't know, but we've seen signs, signals, strange movements. Someone is lying, and when they make their move, we won't be caught unarmed. More murmurs. Now the room was no longer united against the humans. Fear was spreading. What if the humans were right? What if there was a hidden enemy? A Drexus guard near the back shifted slightly. Cole's eyes locked onto him instantly. Her hand moved near her weapon. The guard froze. I see things others miss, she said, and I trust instincts more than promises. The High Speaker looked tired now, older than before. You risk everything by breaking trust, Commander. And we risk everything by trusting blindly, she replied. There was no easy answer. The Council had hoped for harmony. But now, humanity had brought something no one else dared to bring, doubt, The meeting continued. Two things became clear. First, the humans weren't going to leave. Second, they weren't going to disarm. Behind the grand words of peace, behind the noble talk of unity, a shadow was growing. Some were too proud to see it. Others were too scared. But the humans, they were ready. And in the deep silence that followed the debate, one unspoken truth hung in the air like smoke. If war came back to the stars, humanity would not be its victim, they would be the fire. The council chamber remained tense after the humans left. Delegates whispered in fear and confusion. Some were angry, others were simply afraid. The humans had broken the treaty. Yet, deep inside, many began to wonder, what if the humans were right? High Speaker Vereen sat alone in his chamber later that cycle. He reviewed the footage from the meeting. Again and again he watched the humans walk in, calm, focused, armed. They didn't look like invaders. They looked like survivors, soldiers who had seen too much to trust empty peace. In another part of the station, Commander Cole and her team returned to their temporary quarters. Their weapons stayed ready. Their armor remained on. Cole didn't relax. She watched every movement in the hallway, every alien face. She could feel it. Something was wrong out there in space. And no one else was ready. Lieutenant Diaz, her second-in-command, leaned closer. "They're scared of us," he said. Cole nodded. "Good. Fear is better than betrayal." "But what if we're wrong?" Diaz asked quietly. Cole stared at him. "Then we're just the crazy ones with guns. I can live with that. What I can't live with is watching another Earth fall." In the main archive hall of the council, a young Alari diplomat named Kira searched through human history records. She had never seen a species with so much war. Thousands of battles, civil wars, betrayals, treaties made and broken. Again and again, and then she found it, the siege of Luna Base. A peaceful treaty was signed between human colonies and a rebel group. But the rebels broke it. Over 10,000 civilians died in one night. The humans had trusted the rebels, and they paid the price. Kira closed the file, her feathers trembling. Now she understood. Humanity didn't break the treaty out of pride. They broke it out of pain. Old pain. Meanwhile, far beyond council space, something stirred. A ship drifted through dark space. No lights. No ID. Inside, the Drexy's commander watched a screen. He saw the council meeting replayed. He saw the humans with their guns. He hissed softly. "They know," he growled. A smaller alien beside him asked, "Should we delay the plan?" "No," the Drex's commander said. "Move faster. The humans will tell the others. We strike before they listen." Back on the council station, a secret meeting began. 5 races attended: Alari, Vereen, Amari, Torkin, and the humans. Kira spoke first. "I've read your history," she said to Cole. "I understand now. You didn't come to start a war. You came because you've seen what peace without strength leads to." Cole nodded, but her face stayed hard. "Understanding doesn't stop bullets. We need action. Someone out there is hiding something," the Torkin general growled. "You suspect the Drexys." "We don't suspect," Cole said. "We know. We just can't prove it. Not yet." "Then let's find the proof," said Kira, but not everyone agreed. In the main council hall, an emergency vote was called. Some members demanded the humans be disarmed. Others wanted them expelled. The Drexy's ambassador stood up slowly. "Peace means rules," he said. "If humans break the rules, they must face punishment." Cole stood in reply. Her voice echoed through the chamber. "Peace is not the paper it's written on. Peace is people willing to defend each other. If you remove us, you'll be blind when the real enemy comes." The vote was close. Very close. But in the end, the humans were allowed to stay. Armed. But watched. Late that night, Cole stood on the balcony of the council station. Stars stretched across the black sky. She remembered her father's words, spoken long ago after another failed treaty on Earth. Never walk into peace with your eyes closed. Trust but carry steel. Now she understood those words fully. Below her, the council lights flickered. In a hidden part of the station, a Drexis spy activated a beacon. A red pulse shot through space, fast, silent, invisible. It was a signal. The first move had just been made, and the only ones who sensed it were the humans. Oh. Deep in the cold darkness of space, something ancient and dangerous began to move. Drexis warships, hidden for years, came to life. Engines hummed, weapons charged. The beacon from the council station had reached them. It was time. Back at the council station, no one knew yet. The diplomats still argued. The guards still stood at their posts, unaware that they were no longer safe. Only the humans felt the tension rising. Commander Cole didn't sleep. She paced. The halls, watching, waiting. Her instincts screamed. Something was coming. She met with Kira, the Alari diplomat, again. Kira looked tired, but determined. She held a datapad in her claws. "I found something," she said. "The Drexis have been hiding ship movements. Not in open space, but near dead zones, places no one monitors. Dozens of small ships. Too many for trade, no records, no cargo." Cole narrowed her eyes. "They're moving a fleet." Kira nodded. "I think so, but I don't have proof strong enough for the council." "Then we make our own proof," Cole replied. She ordered her team to scan long-range signals deep beyond council borders. What they found chilled them. Energy spikes, Drexis signals, hidden channels. All pointed to the same thing: preparation for war. Cole called an emergency meeting. Only a few trusted species came. Kira, the Torkin general, an Amari scientist, and a silent observer from the Vereen. Cole showed the data, the ship movements, the strange signal, and finally, a blurry but real image: Drexis warships gathering around a dark moon. "They're preparing for a strike," Cole said. "The council is blind, but we're not." The Torkin general stood. "Then we strike first. We send a message they won't forget." "No," Cole said quickly. "That's what they want. If we attack without the council's support, they'll paint us as the enemy." Kira stepped forward. "What's the plan, then?" Cole looked at her team. Then she said, "We need to catch them in the act. We send a recon ship. Small, fast, hidden. If we get the right footage, the council will have to listen." The Vereen observer finally spoke. His voice was slow, deep. "If you fail, you'll die." Cole smiled coldly. "We're humans. We're used to that risk." Her team moved fast. Within hours, a stealth ship left the station. 2 human operatives inside. No weapons fired, just eyes open and sensors on. They slipped into deep space, heading toward the Drexis moon. But it was a trap. The Drexis had planned for this. They had seen the humans growing suspicious. A decoy fleet waited near the dark moon. And behind it, hidden even deeper, was the real attack force already moving toward the council station. The recon ship spotted the decoy and sent the signal back. Fleet found, gathering, 30+ ships, sending location. And then, static. The signal died. Cole's jaw clenched. She stared at the screen. "They're gone," said Diaz. "They bought us time," she replied. On the other side of the galaxy, the Drexis commander grinned. He had fooled the humans for a moment, but he underestimated them. He didn't know that while the recon ship was lost, it had already sent data to a second hidden human satellite. Cole received it minutes later. She saw something strange. One of the Drexis ships in the fleet had no weapons, only signal arrays. It was broadcasting false signals to hide something else. And then she saw it. A second wave of ships, far larger, heading not toward the moon, but directly toward the council station. Her heart dropped. "They're coming here," she said. "The fleet near the moon is fake." "Just bait," Kira gasped. "Then we have no time." Cole turned to Diaz. "Get the team. Get the weapons. Tell the guards, if they believe us." But most didn't. When Cole tried to warn the full council, the Drexis ambassador stood calmly. "This Is madness, he said. They blame us with fake images, old war habits. This is fear, nothing more. Some believed him, others didn't know who to trust. Cole didn't wait. She armed her team, she told Kira to hide, and then she waited. 3 hours later, the EO station sensors went dark. A moment later, the first explosion rocked the outer ring. Screams, alarms, panic. The Drex's fleet had arrived. Their ships dropped out of warp, right above the station. They didn't speak. They didn't warn. They just opened fire. Council defense was too slow, too soft. But the humans were already in place. Commander Cole led her squad through the halls, fast and focused. They moved like shadows, defending civilians, setting up barricades, returning fire. The Drexes had hoped for an easy kill. What they found instead was humanity ready for war, and the battle had just begun. The council station shook as more explosions hit the outer walls. Fires spread through the corridors. Sirens screamed. Airlocks slammed shut. The once great symbol of peace had become a battlefield. The Drexes moved quickly. Their ships released drop pods full of soldiers, tall, armored, and deadly. They stormed through the halls, attacking guards and civilians alike. Chaos filled the station, but they were not ready for the humans. Commander Cole and her team were already moving through the lower levels. Their weapons were loaded. Their armor was sealed. They knew the station better than the invaders, because they had studied every floor, every exit, every weak point. Cole raised her rifle and looked at her team. This is what we prepared for. We don't run, we push back. They moved as one unit. In a tight formation, they swept through the hallways, clearing Drexy's squads. Blaster fire echoed. Smoke filled the air. Cole's team didn't stop. Every shot they fired was accurate. Every move was calculated. Above them in the command tower, the council leaders hid in fear. The council guards tried to defend, but they were outgunned and outmatched. The Drexys pushed forward, step by step, breaking through doors, breaking through walls. In the science wing, Kira, the Alari diplomat, helped wounded civilians hide. Her feathers were soaked in blood, not her own, but from those she tried to save. She had never seen war up close. Her hands shook, but she remembered Cole's words. Peace without strength is just waiting to be conquered. She picked up a small stun weapon, weak, but better than nothing. In the reactor level, Diaz led half of Cole's team. Their mission, protect the power core. If the Drexys took it, the entire station would fall into darkness. Worse, they could use it as a bomb. They held the narrow tunnels. One by one, the Drexys came and fell. Diaz fought like a man who had nothing to lose. He shouted orders, threw grenades, and refused to back down. In the upper market halls, Cole reached a large group of civilians under attack. Without hesitation, she stepped into the line of fire, drawing attention to herself. She moved fast, firing from cover, pushing the Drexys back. An alien child cried behind a market stall. Cole ran, scooped the child into her arms, and carried them to safety. She wasn't just a soldier. She was a protector. Meanwhile, in space above the station, the Council's weak defense fleet tried to fight off the Drexys ships, but their weapons were outdated. Their tactics were slow. Then, something new entered the battlefield. Human ships. A small group of Earth warships dropped out of warp space, sleek, strong, and fast. They came without warning, because Cole had secretly sent a distress signal before the attack began. The human ships didn't waste time, they opened fire instantly. Missiles flew. Lasers burned. They targeted Drexys engines and weapon systems with deadly precision. The Drexys fleet faltered. One alien commander on the Council fleet watched in shock. They brought guns, he whispered. Thank the stars they brought guns. Back inside, the battle continued. The Drexys were strong, brutal, but they were not prepared for human strategy. They were used to fear. They were used to easy victories, but the humans didn't fear them. They hunted them. Cole's squad cornered a Drexys unit in a transport bay. Trapped, the enemy tried to negotiate. We are warriors, the Drexys leader hissed. You can't kill us all. Cole raised her weapon. We don't need to. We just need to remind you. We fight back. She fired. No more words. By the 6th hour of the attack, the tide began to turn. Human warships destroyed key Drex's ships. Inside the station, human forces pushed the invaders back. The council guards, inspired by what they saw, began fighting harder. Civilians were rescued. Fires were put out. Rooms were secured. And for the first time in the history of the Galactic Council, peace wasn't saved by talks or treaties. It was saved by soldiers. It was saved by humans. When the last Drex's ship jumped to retreat, the station was damaged, but not destroyed. The cost was high. Many were hurt. Some were dead. But the Council still stood, and so did humanity. Cole stood in the main hall, her armor cracked and blackened. She looked around at the silent crowd, alien diplomats, guards, survivors, all staring at her. No one spoke. Then, Kira stepped forward. Her feathers were burnt, her eyes full of emotion. "You saved us," she said. Cole looked at her, tired but firm. "No. We just didn't wait to be saved." The council chamber was silent. Smoke still drifted from damaged walls. Some lights flickered. Others were out completely. The room had once been filled with hope. Now it felt like a tomb. The Drexys had fled, but their attack had changed everything. Many council members were dead, others had resigned in fear. The rest sat around the long table, wounded, angry, and confused. Commander Cole stood before them, her armor still scorched from battle. She didn't ask for thanks. She didn't expect praise. She had come for one reason, to speak the truth. "You were warned," she said calmly. "You were told something was coming, you didn't listen." Some looked away. Others stared at her with mixed emotions, fear, respect, even guilt. "We built this council on peace," said the Torkin delegate, voice rough. "We believed in trust." Cole nodded. "And you should. But peace without defense is a lie. It's a weak wall against a strong enemy." The Virene representative stood. His tall frame swayed slightly from exhaustion. "You saved the station," he said. "Without your soldiers, we would all be dead." "But now," said an Amari elder, "what happens next? Do we follow Earth's way? Guns and war?" "No," Cole said. "You don't need to follow us, but you do need to learn what we've learned. Peace must be protected, not just by words, by action." A quiet voice broke the tension. Kira stepped forward from the side, still in her torn robe. She held a data chip. "I have proof," she said. "The Drexys planned this attack months ago. The treaty was just a delay. They never wanted peace." She placed the chip on the table. It projected files, hidden messages, Drex's ship logs, movement maps, everything. There was no denying it now. The council had been tricked. One by one, members began to speak. "They fooled us. We were blind. We need change." But change wasn't easy. Some delegates still feared the humans. They saw the weapons, the strength, the leadership, and they didn't like it. "They want control," whispered a Tharn diplomat. "They saved us, yes. But what will they ask in return?" "They didn't wait for permission," another said. "They acted alone." In the hallway outside the chamber, Diaz leaned against the wall, listening through a small earpiece. He frowned. "They're afraid of us," he said to Cole when she came out. "They should be afraid of what's out there," she replied. "Not us." "But fear doesn't work like that," Diaz said. "Sometimes people hate what saves them." Meanwhile, in the lower docks, human engineers helped repair the station. Medical teams moved between wounded aliens and humans alike. Supplies were shared, food was given. No one asked for repayment. Actions spoke louder than words. In one quiet moment, a young alien child approached a human medic. The child offered a small broken toy, an old spaceship model. The medic smiled and fixed it with tape and wire. The child hugged him. Across the station, small moments like this happened. Step by step, fear began to fade. Back in the council chamber, a vote was called, a new defense law, one that would allow member species to carry weapons for self-defense, one that would allow Earth to train joint defense teams across the galaxy, one that would, for the first time, make humanity a permanent part of the council military command. The vote passed, but not easily. Some members walked out, others warned of future dangers. But the majority knew the truth now. Words alone were not enough. Cole was called back into the chamber. "You will lead the training program," the speaker said. Cole paused. She wasn't a politician. She was a soldier. "I'll do it," she said. "But I won't teach them to love war. I'll teach them to survive it." Later, on the command balcony, Kira joined her. "You've changed everything," Kira said softly. "No," Cole replied. "The enemy changed everything. We just didn't close our eyes." They looked out across the stars. Behind them, the council began to rebuild, but somewhere far beyond the edge of known space, the Drexes weren't done. Their ships regrouped. Their leaders watched. And now, they were angry. They had lost the element of surprise. Worse, they had awakened something stronger than they expected. They had awakened humanity, and next time, humanity would not wait. Weeks passed since the Drexes' attack. The council station was still damaged, but life had returned. New steel covered the old wounds. Emergency lights were replaced. Families came out from hiding. But the fear had not completely left. That fear, however, had changed direction. It no longer pointed at the Drexes. Now it pointed at the humans. Across the galaxy, people talked. Some praised Earth for its courage. Others whispered in shadows. They said the humans had too much power now. They acted alone. They broke the treaty first. And still, they won. But no one could deny the truth. Without the humans, the council would have fallen. So now, the council obeyed the new law. Every member species was allowed a defense force, and Earth was given the lead role in training them. Commander Cole didn't return to Earth. She stayed on the council station, building the new defense training corps. Soldiers, guards, and volunteers came from every species. Some were proud, some were scared, some simply wanted revenge. Humans trained them all. Diaz stood on a wide platform, watching a group of alien recruits struggle through obstacle courses, slippery walls, blaster drills, shield formations. The air smelled like sweat and heat. "Too slow," he shouted. "Cover your flank. You think the enemy will wait for you to tie your boots?" A young Torcan recruit growled. "We are not humans. We fight differently." Diaz walked up, calm and firm. "You're right. You're not humans. But the Drexes don't care. You either learn to survive or you die." The Torcan fell silent and returned to training. Cole stood on a high balcony with Kira watching from above. Kira had become her closest advisor. She didn't carry weapons, but she carried wisdom, and she understood politics. "They admire you," Kira said. "Even the ones who fear you." Cole didn't smile. "That's not enough. I need them ready. This was never just one battle. The Drexes will come again." Kira nodded. "Yes, and maybe not alone." Cole turned her head. "What do you mean?" Kira hesitated, then handed her a datapad. "We intercepted something strange. A Drexis message. Not in their usual code. This one is old. Very old. Hidden in deep frequencies." Cole played the message. Static at first. Then a voice. Deep. "Not Drexis. The humans awaken too fast. We must move sooner. The others grow curious." Cole frowned. "The others?" Kira whispered. "We don't know who they are. But the Drexes aren't the top of the food chain. Something bigger is watching." Cole's gut tightened. The next day she called a secret meeting. Only a few trusted species were there. Kira, the Torcan general, a Virene operative, and a silent Amari cryptographer. They listened to the message again. The Amari spoke softly. "This language, it's not Drexis. It's older than any file. In the council archive, maybe even pre-council. Hidden masters? the Torkin asked. The Drexys have always been cruel, but now it sounds like they take orders. If that's true, Cole said, then we've been fighting the wrong enemy. They all stared at each other, the room heavy with silence. Meanwhile, in the training grounds, Diaz received a new batch of recruits. Among them was a quiet species, never seen in battle before, the Yllari, small with glowing eyes and fragile bodies. Most laughed when they saw them. Diaz didn't. He watched one Yllari run the course. Fast, precise, smarter than expected. After the drill, Diaz walked up. You're not a soldier, but you think like one. The Yllari replied, We studied Earth wars. You win not just with strength, but with thinking. We wish to learn both. Diaz nodded. He saw potential, not just in them, but in all of the new recruits. Slowly, humanity wasn't just leading. They were teaching. One night, Cole walked alone through the repaired halls of the station. She passed alien children drawing on the walls, pictures of human soldiers fighting Drexis monsters. She paused, staring at one image, a human holding a shield in front of a group of council species. She didn't feel like a hero. She felt like a warning. Kira joined her quietly. They love you, you know. They shouldn't, Cole said. They should prepare, something bigger is coming. And what if it's too big, Kira asked. Cole looked into the stars. Then we fight smarter. We fight together. And if that's not enough, then we fight harder. Across the galaxy, unknown eyes watched from the shadows. Ancient ships drifted through dark space, silent, hidden, waiting. And one message echoed across a secret channel. The humans were not supposed to rise so fast. It began with silence. A deep space listening station far from the Council's main world suddenly stopped sending reports. No warning, no signal, just silence. The station was run by the Virine. They were experts in sensors and stealth. If something went wrong, they always sent an alert, but this time nothing came. Commander Cole was in the middle of a combat review when the message reached her. Station Echo 7 has gone dark. No signs of Drex's ships, no signs of debris, just gone. Cole turned to Diaz. His expression was already hard. That's not an attack, Diaz said. That's a message. Cole nodded. And we better figure out who's sending it. She called a small team, experts from Earth, Kira from Yllari, and 2 Virine scouts. They took a fast stealth ship and jumped to the last known coordinates of Echo 7. What they found chilled them. The station was still there, but it was empty. No damage, no signs of a fight, just floating in space, powered down. Inside, lights flickered dimly. Cole led the team through dark corridors, weapons ready. Every step echoed too loud. They found no bodies, but they found the uniforms, neatly folded, placed on chairs, desks, beds, as if the crew had just vanished. Kira ran her scanner. No life signs, no air leaks, no poison. It's like they were pulled away. One of the Virine scouts tapped into the security logs. Most of the footage was wiped clean, but they recovered a few seconds of camera data. Everyone watched. The screen showed a Virine officer standing in the control room. Suddenly, a shadow passed across the window. The officer turned and vanished. No scream, no flash, just gone. The shadow returned for others. Cole leaned in, trying to pause the image. There, a shape, humanoid but wrong, too tall, too thin, and glowing faintly blue. Kira whispered, "That's not Drexis." The scout added, "That's not in any council database." Cole stood up. "We need to go. Now." They returned to the council station with proof. Cole went straight to the council chamber. This time, the leaders listened. They had seen what happened last time they ignored her. "This isn't war," Cole told them. "It's a warning. Something else is out there, and it can remove people without leaving a trace." Some still doubted. "We've never heard of such creatures," one delegate said. "You hadn't heard of humans either not long ago," Cole snapped. "That didn't stop us from existing." Kira stepped forward. She played the recovered video. The chamber fell silent as the image froze on the tall, glowing figure. The Amari cryptographer spoke next. This shape matches carvings found on pre-space ruins, thousands of years old, across 3 different planets. Cole raised an eyebrow. What did they call them? The Amari hesitated. The Voidborn, walkers of silence. They do not destroy, they erase. Council members looked at each other in fear. And the Drexes? One asked. They serve something, Kira said. Maybe it's this. The chamber erupted in arguments. Some wanted to flee, others said it was a trick. But a few, just a few, looked at Cole and asked, "What do we do?" Cole didn't have all the answers, but she had a plan. We prepare. We train harder. We share every piece of data across every world. We build a warning network, and we go hunting, before they erase anyone else. Meanwhile, on the outer rim of council space, strange things began to happen. Small colonies vanished, ships lost in transit, messages intercepted, half-sentences ending in silence. One message survived, from a mining ship near a dead moon. It's here. It's not Drexus, it's looking at me. Help. Please. Cut. Back at the station, Cole gathered her most trusted soldiers. We're not waiting, she said. We take the fight to them. Diaz grinned. Thought you'd never say it. Together, they launched a recon mission. Not to fight, but to find where these Voidborn came from. They followed the trail of lost ships, burned out stations, empty colonies. Each one led them deeper into dead space until they found something impossible. A massive structure, floating in the dark. Not a ship, not a station. A gate, ancient, cracked, but still active. Blue light pulsed from its center, and behind it, nothing. Just blackness. Cole stared at it, and the gate stared back. Her hand moved slowly to her weapon. Because in the void, something moved. The ancient gate pulsed slowly, like a giant heartbeat. Cold blue light flashed across the dark. Commander Cole stood with her team at the edge of their ship's viewing deck. No one spoke. They had seen many strange things in space. But this felt different. It felt alive. Diaz checked the scans. Nothing's coming out, but something's watching. I can feel it. Kira's eyes narrowed. This gate, it's not dead. It's waiting. And I think it's calling. The Vereen tech nodded slowly. It's broadcasting a signal, not in any language we know. But one thing is clear. It's asking for someone to enter. Cole's mind raced. It was a trap, it had to be. But also maybe it was something else, maybe. It was a test. She called back to the council station. The speaker's voice came through. Commander Cole, what have you found? An entry point, she replied. To their space. We believe this is how they move. It could be their home. Or a doorway to it. Gasps echoed on the line. You can't go in, someone said. You don't know what's in there. We already know what's out here, Cole replied. Silence, erased colonies, dead crews. If we don't act, they'll come through next. We need to find answers. And we need to show them. We're not afraid. There was a long pause. Then the speaker said quietly, What do you need? Cole smiled for the first time in days. Backup. Within hours, ships from Earth, Torkin, Vereen, and even a few brave Drex's defectors formed behind. Cole's lead vessel, the first real united force in Council history, not for war, for survival. The fleet approached the gate. Lights blinked faster. The center glowed bright. One by one, ships passed through and vanished. Cole stood tall as her ship reached the edge. Engage. Flash of light. Then, darkness. Silence. And then, stars. But not the stars they knew. They had entered another space, empty, cold, and twisted. Colors bent in strange ways. Gravity shifted slowly. Time felt thick. Diaz whispered, Where are we? Kira stared out. another reality, a different layer of space. This is where the Voidborn live. Then something moved. Thousands of lights appeared, but they were not ships. They were alive. Creatures of blue light and dark matter, long and tall, like the one from the Echo 7 footage. Some had eyes, some didn't, but all of them turned to face the human-led fleet. No one fired. Cole stood at the front of the bridge. "We came to talk," she said firmly. "We're not your prey. We're not afraid." There was no reply. But slowly one of the creatures came forward. It stopped inches from the ship, and a voice filled the ship. Not from speakers, not from machines, from the mind. "You learn fast, humans." Cole didn't flinch. "We survive. Fast. You bring others with you," it said. "You lead them." Cole replied, "We protect each other. That's what makes us strong." "You are different," the voice said. "You are in a noise in the quiet." Kira stepped forward. "Then listen to the noise. We will not be erased. We will resist." There was silence. Then, a change. The creatures began to pull back. The blue glow dimmed. "You are not ready," the voice said. "But you may be soon." This was a test. Few pass. Cole narrowed her eyes. "And if we hadn't?" "You would not remember it." The gate behind them pulsed again. The fleet was pushed gently back through the light. In seconds, they were back in known space. Everyone was alive. The ships were unharmed, but they had been marked. Every ship now had a new symbol burned into the metal. A glowing ring of blue lines. A warning. Or maybe an invitation. Back on the council station, Cole stood before the council again. "What did you see?" the speaker asked. Cole answered simply. "Something ancient, something watching. They tested us and they're not done." The Torkin general asked, "Did we win?" Cole looked around at the others. "No," she said. "We survived. That's the first step." The council was quiet. Then applause broke out. Slow at first, then louder. The galaxy understood now. This wasn't about treaties anymore. It was about endurance, unity, strength, and above all, action. Later, in a quiet moment, Kira asked Cole, "Do you think they respect us now?" Cole looked at the stars. "They don't have to respect us," she said. "They just need to remember us." Because humanity wasn't just part of the galaxy now. They were its shield, its sword, and its last hope when words failed. Because when the stars go dark, humanity brings the fire.